please welcome to the stage.
Hello, everyone. We're just waiting for one more person, so I will maybe just in the meantime introduce myself. So I am Beth. I'm VP of Customer Success at Particular Audience. Super excited to be here today. As VP of Customer Success, I'm obviously really close to, well, almost all our clients at PA, and one of those clients is Dave from Face the Future.
Thanks, Beth. So I'm Dave Trolle from Face the Future. I'm the marketing director. So I've got 22 years experience in digital and media, very much on a retail side, but also as an agency as well. So I've got quite a unique kind of viewpoint on retail media, I guess, from both those strands as well. And we are just getting James on the stage right now as well.
Here we are.
It's not my fault, it's John Lewis's fault. They had the microphones.
Slander.
But it is loud up here, isn't it? Hope you can all hear okay. Hey, Steve. Hi, everyone. Did we finish introducing ourselves?
Yes, we did intros. Yeah.
Okay, super. I'm James. I'm the founder of Particular Audience. We've been around about 8 years, and we help retailers introduce machine learning into their website experiences to decide what products get shown to whom and what content gets shown to whom at the right time. And we entered the retail media market probably 5 years ago. And as we are all here, it's obviously been quite a good market for us and for you, hopefully, as well. So today, we're going to be talking about from segments to signals. The media world have got a history and a sort of a muscle in targeting segments and keywords and placements and places. And we're here to talk about how AI and machine learning today enable the targeting of signals, which not only provides more accurate experiences for us, but it's all automatic as well. So, do we have a clicker?
Oh.
There, yes.
There we go.
Fantastic, thank you. So, who here uses Spotify? Overwhelming. It's pretty good, isn't it? You listen to a playlist, you get to the end of the playlist, it keeps playing your relevant music. It'd be awkward sometimes if your music just switched off. Recommendation systems shape much of our digital experiences today, and there is a delta between what we're used to on the World Wide Web and some retail media approaches. So I don't know if anyone knows this already, but there's 3 core technologies that power Spotify's recommendation systems. There's collaborative filtering, the wisdom of the crowd. If you listen to songs 1, 2, and 3, we sure as hell think you're going to listen to song 4 because 100,000 other people just did that, right? So there's the wisdom of the crowd. There's the natural language processing. So the attributes, the genre, the instruments, the composer, whatever the attributes are that we can mine to understand which songs are similar. And then they do the audio footprint of songs as well for that sort of rhythmic similarity. And trust me, this is going somewhere. We want to talk about the parallels that exist in retail. But first.
Yeah, so I guess despite the fact that collaborative filtering, wisdom of the crowd processes have been around for a long time, in many cases we are still using clumsy, clunky, fat-fingered segments. We are putting customers into groups like mums, 20 to 25, high-income urbanites, beauty enthusiasts, and really that's not good enough. In the case that we're going to talk about today, so for Face the Future, that's just not enough information to achieve anything. And in many situations, it's really not enough information to personalize and deliver good adverts. So for Face the Future, they don't want to know that someone's a beauty enthusiast. They want to know that someone suffers from rosacea maybe, or someone is looking for a product for the early signs of aging, but they also have sensitive skin. Or maybe someone is looking for an acne product for their daughter who's getting a bit self-conscious about their skin, and that's going to be a very different journey today than the journey they made on site 3 weeks ago when they were shopping for themselves.
Yeah, that's a really good example. If you're shopping on behalf of someone, your segment doesn't matter at all, right? Your context and your intent really matters. And perhaps on the keyword search side as well.
Yeah, so moving on to the right-hand side of the slide, if we are just using exact match keywords to try to deliver ads or to try to deliver search results, we're really missing a trick. You might spend a long time setting up campaigns for queries like anti-aging cream, anti-aging serum. But what about those longer tail queries? What about queries like best regime for mature skin, or cream for early signs of aging? And what about those conversational queries? What about queries like how to avoid wrinkles? You're really going to miss those. So 75% of intent is missed if we're just using exact match keywords. What we really want to be doing is using semantic search, vector-based search to deliver the search results, and we want to be using that same search to deliver the sponsored ads so that we can ensure that we can get the right relevant results in front of customers and that we can match the right ads to the right query so that we have useful adverts that will really drive incremental sales. So if we are to take a leaf out of the Spotify playbook, if we're to start using AI, collaborative filtering, semantic search in our ad delivery, we'll see far, far better results. What that means is looking at real-time signals that customers are giving us when they're on site. It's all information that we can glean just by monitoring what customers are doing on site. So it's looking at the products that they click, the products that they're viewing. It's looking at the dwell time that they spend on different items, different content pieces. It's looking at their basket ads. It's looking at the many varied queries that they're typing into the search bar. And through using all of that, we can deliver good personalization, both organically and both in terms of adverts.
And there's a phrase that I love to quote. I didn't invent it at all. Personalization is just good prediction, right? And the best advertisements are those that are indistinguishable from an organic relevance experience. So it's exactly the North Star that we should all be aiming for. And in the event that you have an AI evaluating something or the results or the returned items to search, well, it better be highly relevant, otherwise the AI is just going to discard it. So relevance is more important than ever.
Brilliant. So we'll move on to the case study that we're sharing today. We've got some really interesting data to share. But maybe just to set the scene a little bit, Dave, could you sort of share a little bit of an insight into personalization at Face the Future, why it's important for you?
Yeah, definitely. So I'll give a bit of context to Face the Future. This isn't a sales plug, but if anyone wants to go to the site afterwards and buy some skincare and self-care,
you got any discount
that's
codes?
Perfect. We always have good competitive pricing, because that's where you need to be these days. But yeah, I guess in terms of the business, we've been running for 18 years as an online pure play, based in Yorkshire as well, so good northern business. And then on the flip side, we also had a clinic for 21 years as well. So ultimately, when we created the website 18 years ago, personalization was a key component of that, but we couldn't really quite deliver that because solutions, technologies weren't quite there. So we had a number of skin experts where people could advise and guide over the phone. But actually, what we've seen over time is that maybe 20% of our audience would call up and speak to our skin experts. That's more like 2% because people are more digitally savvy, more digitally native. So actually, our audience, we have to try and personalize the solution online. So that's really where kind of the collaboration with particular audience came in for us, because we just re-platformed on Shopify and we needed some sort of solution that could really help with that guided sales element, but without ultimately human intervention.
Amazing, thanks Dave. And just to explain the test that we decided to run, on the slide you can see a PDP of a product on Face the Future. And what we had been doing for a long time is having personalized sponsored products within the bundles. So you've got the Complete Your Regime spot there. We'd had relevance adverts there. We wanted to test switching the relevance off and reverting to manual pinning and see what happened. And yeah, this is some of the data about indeed what happened.
Yeah, so I guess from our point of view, we're always data curious. We always want to test and learn. I guess this was a good test in a way, because quite quickly we actually realized that the relevance over bid was absolutely the winner. Ultimately, you can see from the graph we had demand in the purple, so demand was much lower in the pre and the post period because that's where we're using the AI relevance. Ultimately, what we saw was that click-through rate bombed as soon as we kind of went into that testing period. So we got much more reach on our kind of placements. But actually, what also we found was that was actually conflicting with some of our wider brand and trade marketing activity as well. So we quickly, after about 10 days or so, switched off the activity. Obviously, you can see the numbers here. So I guess there's two parts to this. The first part was that actually we saw the data drop specifically within the test, but there's a halo in terms of the wider performance as well from a business perspective. So in terms of seeing overall 12% in loss of revenue for that period, which meant that for us, it obviously our curiosity of whether the test actually was going to work or not was clearly answered really. And that's one of the our benefits of working with a particular audience, because we've been able to kind of spin up different tests over time, and we're still doing that over kind of recent past and into the future as well, to kind of make sure that we're kind of making the right decisions, and that we're, I guess, making sure that all key stakeholders are clear on the decisions that we're making, and that we're not using technology for technology's sake, basically.
I think every retail media team is going to have friction potentially with an e-com team, a conversion rate optimization team, a merchandising team, the trade team. To manage all of that into one place is critical, and it should obviously start with the customer. And just to try and get what was 9 times an increase in reach by turning off the relevance, there was zero benefit from a monetization standpoint. The click-through rate dropped so much that it offset that expansion of reach. So for the customer, you've got to do what's completely accurate. Obviously, we know that. But yet still we have segment, placement, targeting, keyword targeting, and you've got to think about, well, what is the customer looking for right now? And I think
I was going to say, and I think one thing that we've actually used this case study for is to present back to the brands that we're onboarding for retail media as well, because some of the brands want a pray and spray approach. They want to reach as many people as possible. But actually what we've done is we've flipped the conversation and say, well, actually the more targeted approach that you can make will be the best result for your brand as well, and won't compromise some of our other business initiatives that are brand focused or Face the Future specific focused as well.
And I think, for me, I'm not, as you might be able to tell, a beauty expert.
Neither am I.
So you might assume that face cream is face cream, but this proves that that's absolutely not the case, right? There is a nuance to every vertical and every segment, and switching relevance back on immediately gets that lift in engagement rates and recovers what was a 12% loss in revenue per visitor during the test. So if AI works so well, why are we still buying keywords?
Well, I guess I reflect on the fact that 20 odd years ago when I started, it was all about Google, other search engines as well. I won't just call it Google. It was all about the keyword. Then audience targeting came in across all the media platforms from an external marketing point of view. And I think ultimately we've been trained on what we should want to work to and what we should expect. So I guess for us, ultimately I still talk to some of our marketing agencies that we work with around audiences, etc. But ultimately we know where things are going. We know that actually we should let go. We should make sure that there's a combination of AI and the human touch as well. But I think we were talking earlier and saying, how hard is it to let control in anything in your life, personally or professionally? So actually that's the big question, and I've got a CEO that I need to be held accountable to with all these decisions as well. So I guess that's why we ran that test as well, to demonstrate this, because there was some questions to say, is that the right decision? We've got brands questioning us as well, but ultimately the proof point was in the test really.
And I suppose within that, a question might come up, which is, well, is it a black box? Is there any, what is your control when you let the AI run wild? What's your answer to that?
Well, I would say once again, you don't know until you try it, and then you don't know until you actually see the results. That's all I would say.
Yeah. And I guess we do a fair bit of human intervention when you guys want it. So we've run campaigns where traffic coming from particular sources will see more particular products on particular landing pages. So we can go in and we can tweak and we can filter and we can guide the AI a little bit when you guys want us to. So we do collaborate a bit on that. And then the other thing, I suppose, Face the Future have always been quite active users of the Boost terminal. So I know that your merchandising team, they spend a bit of time boosting certain products for seasonality, boosting certain products for various Face the Future messages. So yeah, we've got a couple of different ways that we can incorporate that human touch alongside the AI.
Definitely different cases for different objectives. You know, some of the commercial objectives that we struggle with sometimes is high sell-through rate, low sell-through rate, high margin products not getting discovered enough. We've got new brands coming on and new products coming on every week. So, you know, we will have an element of human intervention there because we'll know from the brand where their brand affinities are to start with. So we have to use some of that because the data isn't there initially. So I think that there is kind of an element of human versus AI.
And that plays into the AI ranking, right?
Yes.
You create the boost, which is a trade package or a new brand or whatever, and that is still guided by the customer relevance.
Yeah, so we're not waiting a year for that data. We maybe get that within a month to 6 weeks, which ultimately then feeds the learning.
Yeah. Which I think is, you know, you go a step further, and you know you have a broad e-commerce website experience. You do have that multi-objective optimization problem, which is also a mouthful, of trade and your private label potentially, and all these things. It all needs to funnel into the same ranking cocktail, and that's probably a critical thing with the customer at the start of it. So just to wrap up, I mean, you know, we've spoken a bit about the product detail page, product bundling case study. You know, also retail media is very heavy on search, and we've spoken about keyword versus semantic. You know, ChatGPT, the T is transformer, right? And the transformer was invented by Google for language translation. It's really, really good at understanding what the meaning behind an input is. So if you're not using transformers in your organic and your sponsored product search targeting, you are missing a huge trick there. But the signals extend full funnel. Category browse, search, those are explicit signals. Then you've got your implicit signals. What products do I view? What am I adding to my basket? What is the sequence of products? What have I removed from my basket? What did I buy last time I was here? These are all implicit signals that we can use to predict. And as I say, personalization is just good prediction. And the results speak for themselves. This QR code is an interactive element. So you can go in and you can pick out different on-site inventory options with different logic behind them, and you can see what revenue impact they would have specific to your retail media network. It's all completely, none of the data is ingested, it's just purely used for the interface. You can put in your revenue, your sessions, your current retail media run rate, it spits out scenarios, and you can go in and you can deselect different bits of inventory and different bits of logic. You can calculate sell-through per inventory, weeks live on site if it's for special stuff. It's a really handy tool, so I'd encourage everyone to check that out and start to see how a modular approach to retail media using relevance and customer experience first can really help supercharge your businesses. Anything to add?
No, nothing.
You don't think so?
Brilliant. Thank you so much, everyone. I appreciate it. Cheers.
Thank you so much. Absolutely fascinating. We've got lots of questions. So the first one to you is pretty simple. Any results or thoughts on using AI Max yet?
AI
Max.
Maps.
Max. M-A-X.
Is that a Google ad? Is that
AI
the Google
Max.
Ads?
Yeah.
AI Max.
Probably a good one.
So I haven't got any specific results at the minute because I think when I spoke to the agency that manages our paid search, they felt that there was a few things that they kind of were challenging Google back on, so no results at the moment.
Okay, thank you. Another one here, anonymous. Would you recommend, that gets this out to anyone, would you recommend applying individual bids to your signal keywords too? Or are they all under one budget?
Probably best to answer that, Beth and I, maybe, in the sense that you can just put a bunch of SKUs towards a campaign and the machine will decide which search queries those items should show on. But obviously, the way that you bid may vary massively across different categories or subcategories of products. So I think that your bids should still be SKU orientated. You can switch on target ROAS and other kind of automated goals that adjust the bids in real time. But if you want to curate that, then it's got to be category by category, I'd say.
I was going to say that maybe links back to my point around when we've got slow sellers as well. You know, that for me is it a real opportunity to push harder.
Free up some cash.
And free up some cash, absolutely, yeah. That's because obviously you have profit, cash flow, all of these things are kind of...
Depends on the goal of the brand, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We've got too much stock.
Okay, next. Do retailers need separate tech for organic search and on-site ad tech, or can they be more integrated?
Both?
Yeah, I guess, we would probably advise that it is better to have that coherent system, but it isn't essential. So long as you've got good tech powering both, then that's great, yeah.
Yeah, I think we take it from we can do everything, or you can do a mediation layer, because there's a whole team controlling the search engine, so what can we do to sort of bridge that gap with that incumbent technology there. So I think it's a flexible, modular approach is the right approach.
And this is the last one from me, Dave, to you. And it comes back to something we started off the session with this morning, talking about the embrace of AI by marketing teams and its speed or lack of.
Yeah.
And you said it's always hard to let go of things as a human being. So I guess any advice to the audience about how you did convince your CEO, your board to go along for the ride with the embrace of AI?
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it obviously is data-led, but some of it is, if you look at the industry as well. I saw something on the news last week about unemployment rates versus AI, and the fact that AI adoption is obviously driving some of that as well. So there is proof points out there that if you don't do something, you will get left behind. So I think that's the biggest element for me. So as a business now, and it isn't just part of the reason for this test, but we've created an AI-specific focus group, which we're working in different areas. So that's right from content to strategy planning to design. But what we're not doing is we're not letting AI take over. We're actually piloting and helping AI to make the decisions as well. Because I think if you use it as an enabler, that's a positive. If you just use it verbatim, then you go down the wrong track.
The last question here, and this is something I was kind of thinking along today. It's something that's always in the press and sort of the more scare stories, is what impact has this had on jobs? I guess that's great. A big embrace of AI, the thought is maybe that's dangerous to people's jobs. What's it been like?
Yeah, I mean, it's not affected our employment strategy as it stands. I think ultimately it might...
You'll never hire someone again.
It will, yeah, definitely. I mean, it is a tough one though, because if we can save time in one area, does that mean that we won't recruit someone else? Maybe, probably not. But actually, it should mean that we free up our time to do more initiatives as well. So we've got many things that we're looking at outside of this as a business as well, new partnerships, new ways to make sure that we're not just spending money on Google, for example, as a business. So actually that frees up people's time to be a little bit more strategic and to grow the business in different ways rather than thinking about quitting jobs for me.
Have you seen it amongst your clients? What's the impact you've seen? Is that a two-good question?
So we're an engineering organisation, and our engineers are all using AI to develop code and help autocomplete code sets and review, and I think it certainly makes the product development lifecycle faster, more profitable. So that invariably has an impact on our need to expand headcount. I still don't see it sort of reducing headcount in any way. There's a company out of Sweden called Lovable. They've recently been valued higher than Klarna in the $1 billion valuation territory, and they do an AI app and website developer. It's great. Lovable.dev. If you check one thing out, it will change your lives. And since they've been raising all these hundreds of millions, they've been hiring more people. And he was quoted and saying why, and he said, well, AI makes everyone more productive, so the more people we have that are more productive means we'll be more productive.
Good. Very good answer.
Yeah.
That's a lovely note on which to end. So amazing panel, totally fascinating. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.